Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Village of Bartlett Committee of the Whole meeting for October 15, 2024. I call this meeting to order and ask the clerk to again please call the roll.
Trustee Daney?
Here.
Gansey?
Here.
GUNSTEEN?
Here.
Hopkins?
Here.
LaPorte? Here. Sawansky?
Here.
President Wallace?
Here. We will start our committee meeting with the town hall. If anyone would like to address the committee, kindly step up to the podium and state your name and address for the record. Try to keep your comments to 3 minutes. Would anybody in the chamber like to address the committee? Anybody online like to address the committee, John?
No one online.
Thank you, sir. Moving on, first standing committee report is under Building and Zoning Committee, Chairman Gunstein.
President Wallace, tonight we have one item, Westgate Animal Care. Petitioner is requesting a special use permit to allow an animal hospital at 792 to 794 West Bartlett Road in the Westgate Commons. The animal hospital would operate on the first floor of the unit, and the second floor would contain the doctor's private office and library. Animals will not be boarded overnight at this facility. Any animals in need of overnight care would be sent to a 24-hour animal hospital. The Planning and Zoning Commission conducted a public hearing and reviewed the petitioner's request at their October 3rd, 2024 meeting. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval subject to the conditions and finding of facts in the staff report. And with that, if we don't have any questions, we'll send this on to the board for a vote.
Does anybody have any questions about the?
Is this a pretty straightforward development?
Yes, there was actually a previous veterinary hospital in one of the other buildings, so we put the same conditions that that one had, and we never had complaints, so.
Thank you.
Just no tigers or bears or anything?
No, we won't have the same problems Hoffman Estate had.
Yeah. Wild cats. I can't bring my lion up there?
Can I bring Bella?
She's a tiger. Leave her?
Dan just saw her. She's a handful.
Yes. Well, yes.
Thank you, Chairman Gunstein. Next item we have under standing committee reports is Finance Committee Chairman Laporte.
Yes, we just have one item. The Village Board recently approved the creation of the Lake Street Corridor TIF redevelopment project area, also known as Lake Street TIF, on September 3rd, 2024. The TIF Act specifies how the village may use TIF increment funds that are generated within the Lake Street TIF. One of the permissible uses for the TIF increment funds is the reimbursement of all or a portion of the taxing district's capital costs that are incurred as a result of a redevelopment project within the TIF district. The Bartlett Fire Protection District, also known as the Fire District, has approached the village about capital costs the fire district may incur for certain types of development within the Lake Street TIF. The village and the fire district have discussed the potential for capital costs the fire district may incur with the Lake Street TIF and how any requests for reimbursement from the fire district will be considered by the village. To that end, a draft intergovernmental agreement, IGA, has been prepared to set out a process for the fire department to submit reimbursement requests to the village for capital costs they incur from development within the Lake Street TIF. The village board will still retain the discretion to approve in part or deny any request for reimbursement that is submitted by the fire district. And this is for discussion only if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, we can move this on to...
What prompted this IGA?
You want the long story or the short story?
It was a request by the fire district to have some greater clarification on how the process can work for them to access funds for their capital needs from the TIF district. They did not exercise that option with the Bluff City TIF, and I believe they just want to have something clarified for not only their staff but for ours.
I don't think it was Bluff City. It wasn't Brewster?
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry, Brewster Creek.
They didn't, they did some math and realized that they should have been adding stuff when they needed stuff, especially when that big fire out there happened. And so they just wanted to have future boards know, because of the length of time of the tax incremental financing, that future boards know that this board was very approachable when it comes to making sure that if there's a 3 or a 5-story building on Lake Street and they need additional capital, they can come to the board, and we've already understood that that's all, the way that all TIFs work.
And this agreement not that dissimilar from what we have with U46 in that, for developer deposits, we kind of based it on that, their request comes to the board for review. We specified a turnaround time in the TIF, or in the IGA, and the fire department has had input on this draft. Kurt incorporated their changes to the draft that's before you.
And other taxing districts are welcome to submit other expenses also. It's not just this particular.
Absolutely. This was a particular request from the fire department.
Okay.
Does an outside vendor kind of do an audit and kind of verify or kind of put the information together? Like if
We would ask the fire department to defend that request. Go ahead, Kurt.
Certainly, one of the provisions of the IGA is that when they make a request, they have to include documentation showing how it meets the TIF Act standards. So this is how it's being incurred because of that development. So that's something that they'll have to provide to this board whenever we consider a request.
Very good questions. That's exactly what we were asking in the meeting. Yep.
Typically, if this wasn't a fire district and a village separate, you wouldn't have this between a fire department and a village, because it would be under one umbrella. Correct?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, this is a separate taxing district, but
Yes,
in other TIFs, the fire department falls under the village or the city. So it's just a little different here.
Yes.
Any, not mine.
That's all I've got.
All right, so we'll move it to the board for approval. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by trustee Daney, seconded by trustee Gansey. The clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Daney?
Yes.
Gansey?
yes.
Gunstein?
Yes.
Hopkins?
Yes.
LaPorte?
Yes.
Swansky?
We are adjourned. Now.